Tropical Smoothie Cafe believes you deserve a getaway every day, not just once a year. Summer mocktail smoothies are here for a limited time at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Mocktail hour on the pool deck is a sip away. I'm excited about the mango berry Cosmo smoothie. I can't wait. We go to Tropical Smoothie Cafe 3 times a week, and this is on my list for this week's. You guys go and try it out because you're on Tropic Time now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday. I'm here to talk to Meredith about Bravo. Thursday, we call Shades of Bravo. Still don't love that name, but haven't come up with anything better. So, Meredith Constant, you guys, you may know her if you listen to us on the weekend, but she's a very famous TikToker.
You
Hey,
can't
Meredith.
you can't set me up for failure like that. I'm really honored that you let me out of the basement, out of my little
Yes.
cage that you keep me
hmm
in.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me out.
Yep.
And I am excited to join the Bravo universe today. And let me just say, Bravo is keeping me fed. They are
Yeah.
feeding the girlies right now with this
Mm.
content and primarily non-housewife shows, I will add.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even really want to talk about Jersey because nothing's happening yet. I think
It's
we're getting a primer. I mean, guess what? It's Gabrielle's going to college, and if I have to hear like, Gabrielle's going to college" one more time, I'm like, we get it.
My
Okay, I'm going through
daughter,
the same
my
thing. Yeah,
daughter. I
my
love that
daughter.
I love that they left the shore house early so that they could go home and film basically a moving scene with just her boxes, not her, so that they could get that moving company for free, that they had that shot on the moving company logo for a
Yeah,
very long time and had "This is such a great company. Look how fast you
yeah,
guys are moving." But
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
Gabriella has been ready to fly the nest since she was about 12. That girl organized all
At
her stuff. She
least,
labeled
yeah.
everything. She has
Mm,
bags for the plane. She is my queen.
mhm.
I'm excited for her. I'm excited for her to leave to leave and never come back.
Yeah.
I I think the thing that's concerning me about Jersey is
hmm
that when I saw the preview for next week, which is the charity baseball game that Dolores does every year,
Every year.
we it's the same plot points every year in terms of where they are going, and they need to shake it up. We do Joe's birthday down at the shore.
Yep.
There's usually some sort of inappropriate shot taking, and
Yes.
then is Dolores's game.
hmm
They have to break free of this. They have to.
They
I
need to get
think
it
it
like
is.
they need to film in a different season. Like, I love sometimes when they do that, like,
Yeah.
it's always at Christmas, and now we're gonna switch it up and do it in the summer or
I
whatever. Like, to
think
see these people in a different season.
I think
Yeah.
they need to do that. And I think like Margaret is having a hard time with Jen Fessler. And I really think most of that is because Jen Fessler, I don't think is playing this right in terms of trying to play all sides, because now she's like, "Oh, I'm a housewife." Isn't she a housewife this season? Did I miss that in the I didn't miss that in the
No,
intro.
she is a housewife this season,
Yes.
and I heard Margaret on an interview saying that Jen Fessler just is so nice that she wants to, like, be friends with everybody and be Switzerland, but she's like, "At some point, you have to take a stand." You know what I mean? At least on these shows you do, right? Maybe not in real life, but
And
that's what Margaret said about Jen. Yeah.
she's doing the thing that a lot of people did, even Margaret did when she joined the show, which is you try to befriend anyone and everyone because, first of all, you don't want to look like the soldier, as Jen said to Margaret that she was not going to be, to the
Mhm.
person that brought you on. And you want to make sure you have some leverage for the next season. What if
Yeah.
somebody gets a bad edit? What if somebody gets cut? You don't want to put all your eggs in the Jackie Goldschneider bucket. You know what I mean?
What's she doing? The fact that she has gone over to the Teresa side is wild. Teresa's the one that completely made up that rumor last year about her husband.
I don't love this. I
I
don't
don't love
love
it
this
either.
at all. I think the whole fight is silly. I think where Jen hurt her case was saying to Margaret during the opener that I would never do anything to hurt you. If you don't want me to talk to Teresa about X, Y, or Z, I'm not
Mhm.
going to do it. And then immediately having this conversation with Teresa, which you don't have to like lay into her, but you also don't have to act like she's your best friend. Let's not pretend that Teresa is a great person. She's great for TV.
Yes.
But I think Margaret is trying to call her out on the game that she knows she is playing. And I feel
Yeah.
like we're seeing a lot of behind the scenes producing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little
I'm a big
nervous.
I'm a big fan of Margaret,
Oh my god,
and
Joe.
I'm hoping my understanding is I will be getting her on this podcast for an interview.
Oh, what a delight. I
Yeah,
love
I'm
Jersey just
confirming.
because it's close to my heart. I grew up in New
Yeah, of course.
Jersey,
Of
like
course.
40 minutes away from them. I didn't go down the shore though. I actually went to the Cape, but you have to be clear in Jersey. You say up to the Cape, Cape Cod, right?
Uh-huh.
Down to the Cape, Cape May. Two different things. So I'm enjoying seeing the Jersey Shore areas that I had not been to. I am very happy that we got Joe Judice on
Oh,
FaceTime.
yeah.
He's
Uh-huh,
talking.
uh-huh.
He's like,
From
"Listen,
the Bahamas.
it's a sad day. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? My
We're
bitch
crying.
wife.
Who cares?
Us, my
Yeah.
bitch wife." It's so good.
Also, it's interesting when they show the shore houses, they look like the same houses in Jersey, just on the bay.
Yeah,
It's
I
like a
don't
giant
love.
door. It's like a
Yeah,
lot of marble and stone and like black lacquer. And you're like, what are you doing at this beach house? Like, it's
and
not a beach house look.
gray. It's very gray. Even looking
Yes.
at Melissa and Joe Gorga's, it's not a beach house. I don't know. I feel like a beach house
Yeah.
needs to be a little more lived in. You need to pick up the character of the area you're in, work in
It should be
some
beachy.
neutrals. It should
Should
be
be
like when
beachy.
Ashley Darby had her beach house not near the beach, her oasis.
Her home in Arlington that she has decorated like a beach house. Yeah.
And that's all you need. I will say what I do love about the show is that when one of the plot points is Frank talks to Dolores and Paulie, the Irishman,
Yeah.
which I always forget. And then he speaks, and I'm like, I was not
Whenever he
expecting that.
speaks more than one or two sentences, you're like, oh, yeah, he's fully Irish. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. He is from the home country. So when Frank goes, listen, Dolores, because he kind of talks like that, it's like, I gotta go away. And I just thought, oh my God, Frank is going to camps. Something
Frank's
has
going to camp.
happened. Frank
Yeah.
is going to camps. And then he says Costa Rica. And I said, it's like Joe Giudice. He has to go away and start selling dildos in another country. And then he's like, to go on vacation with my girlfriend who I'd like to propose
Listen,
to.
we don't need this. We don't need this. He's not a part of this cast. We don't need this. I need him. I don't need it.
I need
want
Frank.
less.
No, I want more Frank. I want less Polly, more Frank. I'm sorry. I can't.
I want less all of them. I want less all of the men.
That's fair.
All of them.
I don't like the Fuda glow up this season where he is acting like the seventh or eighth housewife. But I
Agreed.
love that Teresa thinks that the problem is that she implied that he is currently the number one drug dealer in Bergen County and not that he
Right.
was formerly.
Right. Right.
She's like,
I
no,
also didn't
meant when
like.
he's in a teen, not now.
I don't think it's going to age well either. That the two of them were sitting outside talking about how ugly John Fuda is.
That was okay. These two.
You're like, don't say that on camera. What's wrong with you? And Louis, do you have any room to talk? You look like a little piece of bacon. Shut the fuck up.
He preaches all of this. We're self-love and we're focused on the positive. We're not
Yeah.
letting
Oh, yeah.
anyone come
Mhm.
between us. No negativity. By the way, how fucking ugly is Fuda?
Yeah.
You have to
He's
be
the ugliest guy I've ever seen.
you
Yeah.
have to be kidding me. I
was
have to
really mad
say
about that.
I don't think Fuda is the ugliest man I've ever seen. I will say that the veneers on this show
Mhm.
are out of control.
Yeah. It's a lot of money in those mouths. It costs a lot.
There are so many piano keys in these
Yeah.
people's mouths, and they are
Yeah.
so big for
Yeah.
their face. I
All of it. Yes.
cannot stop looking at their mouths. And now that most of the women are allegedly on Ozempic or something of the sort,
Mhm.
not that it's a
Yeah.
problem, I'm not judging.
No, most
Every-
of them have admitted it. I
Yeah,
mean,
right? And-
Kessler admitted it, and Dolores talked about it. So yeah.
So faces are a lot thinner too, which is really like making the teeth more pronounced. I think, wasn't it Jen Fessler
Good
that
point.
went on it? And then she ended up having like the stomach issues that people have discussed as a side
Mhm.
effect. And she ended up,
Mhm.
I'm almost positive she's the one that ended up in the hospital and said, I'm not doing this anymore. I think.
I don't know. All I know is that she and Danielle were on a panel last year sometime and being asked about it because Dolores had been open about her doing it. And when they were asked about it, Danielle kind of went on a whole like, oh, people should just get on the treadmill kind of thing. And Jen Fessler was like, well, for me personally, I've been taking it and it's really helped me with the food noise. And you really don't ever know what is going on in people's brains, what they're eating and how they were raised and maybe what, so,
That's a
Jen,
that's a good diplomatic answer.
it was, and I appreciated it because, I was like, yeah, it's just like Oprah has said the same thing. Like, you can't judge anybody else's journey. And if they are just taking it for weight loss, that's their business. It's up to the doctor to be like, okay, I'm going to prescribe it or I'm not. But it's interesting. I really like Jen Fessler. I really like what she had to say about that particular topic. I don't like the season how she's trying to be Switzerland. We're 4 episodes in. You can't be Switzerland.
I liked her
You
last
gotta pick a side.
season when they're getting cheese and stuff, and she's like, "I just want to eat a sandwich. Why is there? I
Yeah,
just want to eat a sandwich." Her
yeah,
comments were so funny. I want her to bring a little bit more of that back. And just quickly to the Danielle thing,
yeah,
exercise is not going to work for everyone. There are other genetic factors. Not to mention the fact that isn't Danielle in her early, maybe mid 30s?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Shut up,
mean,
Danielle.
listen, ma'am.
We don't want to hear from you, lady.
Listen. Ladies of a certain age do not want to hear from you. Okay.
No,
I'm
no.
assuming. I'm assuming. I feel like I can bring that energy despite the fact that I am probably around Danielle's age. Even I
All
know
right,
that shit.
all right.
All
I
right.
want to talk about how young you are. It's going to make me mad.
Oh, so young.
Um, Okay, let's talk about Vanderpump Rules season 11 reunion part 2.
Whew.
Some things happen, not a lot of things happen, but that's generally how it is when you've got a 3-part. You've got like a boom in the beginning and we'll get the big boom next week.
Honestly, though,
Yeah.
once we got halfway through, I was here. I was here. I was into it. I
Yeah.
was letting out little gasps. I think
Oh.
I laughed out loud at one point.
When I went back the second time to watch it to take notes this morning, I did find there was more there than I realized just upon watching it and kind of like hanging around my kitchen and not totally paying attention. So, where we start is where we left off with talking about Katie being authentic. And Lala again makes her joke of like, something about her is nothing about her, and you threatened to fuck with my business. That's how I feed my baby. And so, Katie says, I didn't want to talk to Ariana about what was going on. She was dealing with a lot. And I was just venting to Lala, which of course I say, Lala, this was off camera. It was a private conversation. You should have never brought this up. And then, Ariana's like, Katie's always herself. She's 100% authentic. We have had these hard conversations. Ariana is not mad that Katie vented to Lala. It didn't pack that punch that Lala was hoping for. Right.
I also think with Lala it doesn't seem like she is thinking of a future past the show. So she is thinking of a
Right.
world where all of these conversations, no matter if you're just bitching to a friend or not, they have to happen on camera. Where Katie is probably just thinking, I just needed to vent. My business partner was going through a lot. I knew we were going to talk about it and it was going to be fine, but I wasn't going to dump on my business partner and create drama with somebody I am in business with. I'm not going to do that. I just think
And I
some
think
people are
that
thinking outside the show.
Yeah, and I think also it's like there are probably very few people in the world that you could talk to about like being on a cast of the show and trying to have a business and all this. So she's just venting to somebody who actually could understand. And then Lala goes and blabs it, which is, it's not going to make Katie ever want to tell you anything again. But it is interesting when they're talking about Katie and Katie's like, I'm always myself. And then all of a sudden you hear Sheena and Brock like say to Schwartz, like, it's your fault. And Schwartz is like, what? And they go, you're a shitty husband. He's like, what? Like, what are we talking? Like, why am I being what?
Yeah, Brock said that he was a catalyst for destroying any self-confidence she had. And I said, Andy, can we hop in?
They
And
just
what's going on here?
they glazed right past that.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and Schwartz is like, wait, what? I'm a shitty. Yeah, duh. Um, you could tell that Katie is kind of pissed, obviously, at Lala, and they're like, her face is. She's like, no, I just thought we had it. Whatever. It's interesting that Ariana's like, no, I forgive her. Like, I'm not mad at her. All right, y'all. Our family loves Tropical Smoothie Cafe. When I tell you we are there at least 3 times a week, it is the kids' favorite thing to do after school is to go and get those smoothies. There's Bahama Mama, there's Island Jetty, there's Kiwi Quencher. These are the things that we live on in this house. They've got these new summer mocktail smoothies, though, that you need to know about, okay? We've got Island Punch Smoothie. This has peach, guava, passion fruit, mango, and pineapple. But the one I'm excited about is the Mango Berry Cosmo Smoothie. It has mango, strawberries, cranberry, and lime. There's also a watermelon mojito smoothie that my husband is going to get. We're going this week. Watermelon, mint, strawberries, and lime. Delicious, delicious. So the mocktail smoothies are just here for a limited time. So you got to get one and sit on your pool deck and really, really enjoy it. They also have these delicious bowls. Now, normally what I get at Tropical Smoothie is the turkey bacon ranch, but they now have these acai bowls that look incredible. They have one with yogurt and berries. Gosh, they look so good. I'm so excited about this. Matter of fact, Ingrid and I are going on Wednesday to meet at Tropical Smoothie for our business lady business meeting because, we're on tropic time now. Visit one of Tropical Smoothie Cafe's 1,400 plus locations and order online or through the app and let me know what you get. Then we talk about the top secret kiss between Schwartz and Katie years ago before he was married. Then we get a montage of everybody's cheating problems.
And we got my favorite. We got Rotten Hail Chicks.
Rotten Hail. My favorite is, so you slept with Kristen. Yeah, twice actually. Kristen's like, Jacks. About the second time.
I just love that Sheena, when she's describing this kiss, she's like, okay, we were at my little sister's competition. And Ari and I were like making out, and Schwartz thought he could keep the party going. We were at a cheer competition for children.
When I go to Vegas, I'm just going to walk around the casinos. Like, do I see any reality stars in here making out? Girls, guys, whoever, whatever. And then Schwartz is like, can I just apologize that I just been such a sloppy drunk for so long? I was like, yes. And then Sheena says every guy at SUR has hit on her. She tells about one time Sandoval did. She tells about James. She's like, what? Okay. Now we get to Katie hooked up with Max, and then Schwartz is like happy because he's like, yeah, like evened out the playing field. And Katie's like, hardly. I'd have to fuck 50 guys, to even out the playing field, whatever.
Sir,
yeah. Come on.
Please.
Come on. But that was kind of funny because I really do love this new relationship between Katie and Tom. The playful banter.
She kind of doesn't give, she kind of doesn't care to enough of an extent that it's fun, their banter back and forth. Because she's kind of pissed, but she's also like, you're not my problem anymore.
Yeah. And she's just like, thank God. Thank God. Yeah, because this could have carried on for many more years.
And I am so glad it didn't. We also got a very important Wolf in Lake Tahoe promotional moment from Lisa, who is,
of course,
sitting there for,
what reason? We don't know.
We don't know.
They should have brought her out just like Joe and put her right back in the closet. Lala is talking about her situation about, Ariana saying nobody could talk to Sandoval. And Lala says her situation is different because she was fighting for the well-being of her child. And Katie goes, that's okay. And we understand that. But Ariana is still allowed to have her boundaries and say, if you're friends with him, you're not friends with me. She's still allowed to say that. And Lala goes, yeah, but let me tell you, somebody would be giving her the side eye if she said Schwartz can't play pickleball with Randall, but I'm still staying in the same house with Randall. She's like, somebody would be giving me the side eye if I was living in the house with Randall saying Schwartz couldn't play pickleball with him. And also if I'd moved on to a new guy within 10 days, which Ariana has now explained, they didn't hook up at 10 days. It was months.
Also, Lala, it's different when you co-own the home. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say you weren't, raking in money for the mortgage. I don't think you were on that dotted line. And as we have seen, there is very good reason for her to stay in that house. And why is no one saying that Tom should move out? The man that broke up this relationship. Why shouldn't he have to move out?
He won't. He won't.
Exactly. And so she's staying there probably on the advice of a lawyer so that she can make sure that she knows everything in the house is accounted for and that she can put pressure on him to sell and not try to buy her out for like a ridiculously low cost. She did the right move.
Totally. And I'm sure she was advised to stay in the house. And so Ariana says, to Lala. She goes, I understand your boundaries. Like, I understand what you were doing, and I understand that, and I respected it. And all I'm asking from you, Lala, is to say, I respect your boundaries. All I'm asking for is respect. And Lala's like, I do respect your boundaries. She's like, no, you just said that you didn't. And then Lala brings up, she goes, well, remember, like, that time that Charlie talked about me? And then we see a flashback to 2022 when Charlie basically called Lala a whore and saying, like, she thought she hitched her wagon to this rich guy. She didn't even get a house out of it, right?
I mean, it's a read, and I feel like there is a kernel of truth there.
Yeah, there is. And so then Ariana goes, but we discussed it at the plant store and we cleared it up, but it just didn't air. And Lala goes, yeah. And then we see the clip of it. Ariana fully apologizing to Lala in the plant store saying, even though it was in 2022, Lala says, I saw that. I saw that you like didn't stand up for me. And Ariana goes, you're right. What I should have said was like, that was savage, but it's taken it a step too far. You're right. She said, what I should have said was this, and I didn't, and I apologize. But because they didn't air it, Lala's like, oh, I'm going to bring it up. And Ariana's like, they've got the footage of me. What are you doing?
I know.
Like,
She says, because it
it's
didn't air,
crazy.
you want to act like it didn't happen. And that's where
Yeah.
I think Lala is trying too much to produce the show, and
Yes,
it's
I
blowing
agree.
up in her face. Another thing, too, and this goes back to when Tom Schwartz, before this starts, the line about her not being the queen of the group, and
Mm-hmm.
Ariana brings up how that brought a lot of trolls on her online, and Katie also said maybe it's because you weren't crying in the fetal position. How
Mm-hmm.
can we forget that devastating scene last year when she has no makeup on? She is heartbroken, rageful, angry, depressed, and she is letting it all out during that
Yeah.
confrontation. It-
Yeah.
that is so raw. What else do you need from this woman? I also do not like the argument from Lala that you don't understand because you don't have a child. Okay. My
Right.
situation's different because there's a child involved. Okay. That is a different situation. I but her situation is also different because they have money invested in
Yeah.
the house, in all these things.
Commingled funds.
And
Yes.
to negate a 10-year relationship because they weren't married and they didn't have kids, it's just so
Lala wasn't married either.
it's so
Yeah.
crappy.
Yeah.
And she isn't helping herself. She isn't helping herself at all. She looks foolish. In the first half of this, I said, "Wow, you did not game this out right." They really thought that this was going to be a Sandoval redemption series, and production was clearly pushing them to get
Yep.
everyone back together to talk, and that
Yeah.
did not happen. The internet, for the most part, was not on that side either,
Right.
and they just
Right.
looked like absolute fools.
I agree. I agree. We get think about the Sheena and Sandoval taking the photo in Tahoe, and that's where we got the ad for Wolf, the sexiest restaurant in Nevada. Um, Ariana on Dancing with the Stars. And they're, like my joke is next year they're going to ask Brock, they're going to ask every single person in the world except Sheena. But she says, Andy's like, I mean, it would just be cruel at this point if they didn't ask you. And Sheena's like, yeah, I'm just going to go live my rock star dream. Like maybe like next year for my 40th. That would be great. I
She's
was like,
busy with
I
the
don't think
band.
you get to say, like if they ask you, I think you say yes. She's like, I know everybody thinks it's stupid, but I'm going to be on stage singing like a rock star. Um, Now we get Allie and Joe. And I just say, how dare you bring out Allie and Joe together? Allie is
Yikes.
like a real part of this cast, and Joe is a side player. If Brock is out there, Allie should be out there. My
I
opinion.
agree. I think it's weird that she is not out there, but listen, she's booked and busy.
She
She
is.
had to cram in some of her astrology booking sessions. When she says that it's $195 an hour that she charges,
Yeah.
Brock's face, his eyes, the light goes out of them. He looks like he has died inside.
Yeah. I mean, my friend Mandy Slutzker, she has done it once or twice with Allie, and she's like, it is really good and really thorough. She really knows what she's doing.
She seems like
Yeah.
she knows her stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so they arrive, and then Joe explains when she started hooking up with Schwartz, they were just drinking buddies. And Lala's like, I didn't even know you knew him. Like, please explain like how you got to like not being friends with anybody to now you're staying with him. And then she was like, well, I was best friends with Kristen Doty. And Katie goes, yeah, I talked to Kristen and she didn't understand at that time when you were between apartments why you didn't stay with her. Like it made no sense. And then Schwartz is like, well, Kristen had something, that was going on in her previous relationship and it was conflict over there. So she just stayed with me. It was only like a couple of weeks. And she's like, yeah, I was, couch surfing. And that's when Andy's like, so you were just like drinking buddies that fuck? And then she's like, yeah, pretty much.
It's so
Yeah, that's how
funny.
it is.
It's so
Yeah,
funny how she describes this. She actually says she lived there 4 days, so I don't know. But
I don't
then
think so.
he asks, when did it get physical? That's what Andy asks. And they're both kind of saying, well, 3 weeks. And Joe's like 2 weeks. And then finally, in the beginning, it was just platonic. Yeah, it was just, no, maybe it was the answers get closer and closer to when she moved in. I have to say, though, in Joe's defense, I do not blame her for not wanting to move in with Kristen Doty because we have heard, I think that's the relationship that was just prior to her and Luke that we've heard
Mhm.
about on the Valley. And that
Yes.
sounded toxic as shit. So I do
Yeah,
not blame Joe for being like, I'll live with the frat boy.
but Joe didn't really know Schwartz is the point. The point is that she was not in their orbit because Kristen's been out of their orbit for a while. So it was sort of like they sort of knew each other from seeing each other out, but why Schwartz? Like that's the point. They're
I
like,
wish I
your
could
goal was to
I
get in
wish
with the
they would
crowd.
I wish they would give the exact moment and how exactly this came about. Was
Yeah,
Tom looking for someone to kind of pay a little rent? How did this all happen? Because it doesn't
right.
sound like it happened through Kristen. It wasn't like Kristen was like, you should stay with Schwartz, I'll set this up.
Yeah,
So there's this whole thing is dicey. I do
it
not
is.
think Joe has the temperament or the emotional regulation for reality TV. Sorry,
No,
ma'am. I need
no.
you to not do this again. It is not
Mm-mm,
healthy for you.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Um, and then, Andy's like, Ariana, you weren't a fan of Joe because you said you believe she knew what was going on with Sandoval and Raquel. And Ariana goes, she did. And the reason I think that is because she was staying there and that seemed to be sort of a crash pad for these two. And the whole thing about the four of them going to Tahoe together, and then Ariana also has said on another interview that Joe came to her house her and Sandoval's house for Thanksgiving. Ariana's like, my whole family was there. And then weeks before, she had done that Tahoe thing. So she knew they were hooking up and they came and had Thanksgiving at my house,
Oh, Mary
knowing what she
Payne.
knew.
Mary Payne, they were in Big Bear. This we get a lot of Big Bear this episode.
It was
In
Big
this,
Bear when they had that like spinoff affair with
yes,
Joe and Schwartz
yes,
and Sandoval.
that's what
Okay.
I have written down at least. I
Okay.
think
Could
that
be.
if Joe was smart, she would just say, "Yeah, listen, I knew that something was going on. I thought better not to ask questions and not to get involved. I was really into Schwartz and I was kind of blinded, by everything else. I wasn't seeing clearly. And I really apologize for
Yeah.
that. I wasn't being a good girl.
Yes.
This is so
Yes.
easy. This is so
Yes.
easy.
Agree. I agree. So, then they talk about the whole Joe and Schwartz thing about him leading her on. And, Schwartz is like, well, like we were, they weren't. And then, yeah, like we were dating like, I love you. But he said it like in a nice way, but like he said it in the correct way. But like, it wasn't like I love you, but it was like she knew I love her. And I mean, they go and they're talking over each other. And finally, one time, Lala looks at James like, what the fuck is going on?
That was the
And,
funniest, the
and James is like,
funniest
I don't
thing.
know. I don't
And
know.
I
I don't
love
know.
that Katie is defending Joe, which Joe is shocked at. I'm not
Yeah.
shocked. Katie is defending any woman against this crappy behavior that Tom Schwartz has
Yeah.
demonstrated for years in his relationships. I love when she said that Schwartz was breadcrumbing Joe, and Joe gets so
Yeah.
mad. What do you mean? She thinks she fed me? She thinks she let. And Sheena is the one that has to be like, "Ugh, bitch, no, she's defending you.
Yes.
When Sheena
Yeah.
looks at you like you some kind of stupid, it isn't good. I think though, if Joe had just stayed silent during this part, she
Yeah.
maybe would have gotten a full apology from Katie.
She's just doing a lot of like Schwartz will say something. She's like, yeah, that's right. I mean, that was okay. Yeah. I mean, that was fine. She's just doing a blah, 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 blah. And finally, at some point, Katie says to Schwartz, like, Tom, what this is like, this is fuckboy behavior. like what you're doing. And then Lala kind of yells at Shorts, like, what you were doing was leading her on, like, it's not cool. And they're all basically talking about Joe like she's not there, you know? And then Joe starts crying and they're like, all she wanted was validation because Joe was like, I mean, we were dating. And like the minute she says we were dating, Tom's like, we were never dating. You know what I mean? It's rough because I'm sure he was telling her one thing and then, and he's just so
Oh,
like,
he sucks. He sucks.
he's
And
just
the
like, "Oh, I'm just poor me. I'm just so
oh
sweet." And you're like,
shucks, I'm
"Come
just a
on, man."
41-year-old. I
Yeah.
I think too, the fact that both the Toms try to say, "You only know what you see on TV." First of all, that's part of the problem because what we're
Yeah.
seeing on TV doesn't really match with what we're hearing, and clearly there's a disconnect behind the scenes. And Tom Sandoval agrees. It's obviously just for a digestible storyline. And James just goes, I don't think it was I don't think it was the show. I don't think that's the problem here."
By the way, these people aren't just watching it on TV. They are also in real life friends with them and live within the same block, you
And
know?
all of us on TV can see this. You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we see Shorts has this new relationship with a girl named Sophia, and he's like, "Oh, I mean, she's beautiful, but that's not what's best about her. But I don't want to talk about it. It's disrespectful to Joe." And they're all like, "Why is it disrespectful to Joe?" And Joe's like, "Why is it disrespectful to me?" And Shorts like, "Oh." But in real time, like, Joe and Schwartz are.
I know they're like, "Oh, now you care about disrespecting her?" And then
Yeah.
someone mentions an IG and a TikTok, which I'm
That
assuming
Joe
were
did.
I thought they were talking about Sophia.
That
I don't
Joe
know.
did. Joe did a TikTok or
Oh,
IG, whatever,
I know she's done
saying
a lot of IGs.
she's reading texts from Shorts saying,
Oh.
"Keep my girlfriend's name out of your mouth. Like, we were nothing. We're over. Like, don't speak to me. I've blocked you on all platforms. Quit speaking about me." Because I think Joe went on IG or whatever and was
Yeah,
like,
she
"I'm
did.
taking questions."
Yep,
And then
I
after
remember that.
that, Tom sent her a text and was like, "Keep my girlfriend's name out of your mouth. Quit talking. I've blocked you on all things. Like, you're crazy." You know, and I'm not saying Joe's not crazy. I'm just saying, like, he gaslit her. He led her on. She's acting accordingly to what she feels is right. And
I think this is a great example of two things can be correct at the same time.
yeah,
Joe can be unstable and make questionable choices that
yeah,
aren't exactly shine theory endorsed, not very
uh-huh.
pro other women. And also Tom Schwartz gaslit her, and Katie was rough on her. Although in Katie's defense, she did not call her a crackhead. She said she was on par with a crackhead. Language matters. This is from your resident media literacy expert.
She called her a creep. She said she's
She
like
did
a
say that.
crackhead. She said she's a rat girl and a psycho.
It's so
And
bad.
then and then
I'm sorry,
Katie
I don't mean
says
to
that,
laugh. I'm
but I
nervous.
mean
That's
that's what Katie does when she gets mad.
She does. She lashes out.
She did it to her own husband.
She's a
She will
Capricorn.
call you. She called Lala a clown. She when she gets mad, she's like Kelly Dodd in that way. Like,
And
you're
she's kind
stupid,
of
you're ugly, shave your face.
and
Just like,
she's kind of matured though, because we saw a clip earlier of Tequila Katie saying,
oh god,
"Sheena, you're just a home wrecking whore."
yes,
Whore.
yes, yes.
So she doesn't even do that anymore. So baby steps is my point.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements, free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, itchy. Ugh. Their products are all safe for sensitive skin, and it's just one of the reasons they've earned the Skin Safe seal of approval. You guys, I've been using the OS1 face topical supplement and the OS1 eye topical supplement. You guys, I really think it's making a huge difference. And I'm kind of regretting that I'm not doing before and after pictures. I'm really going to buy this week the OS1 body topical supplement because I'm like, maybe it could help me out with these like, sunspots on my legs and things like that. It could really smooth it out. They have a team of female scientists. So we love that, all female scientists. Their products are backed by extensive lab and clinical data. It's just like way, way smarter than anything I can even grasp. They have validated their efficacy and safety on all skin types. Their topical supplements are the easiest way to keep your skin healthy and hydrated without those harsh harsh ingredients and irritation found in other skincare products. Believe me, I've had that problem where I'm like, hey, I thought it looked great. And the next day, something horrible has happened to my skin. But that has not happened with these products because they are top notch from some super, super smart people. Because what they do is, okay, what you do with most skincare products, they treat the symptoms rather than the root cause of aging. And what OneSkin has been doing is they did all this lab research. They were able to measure the efficacy of age reversal molecules in their lab. Again, you guys, I told you it's like super, super smart. Their scientists found that this OS1 peptide reverses skin's biological age. And in a third-party 12-week clinical study performed by a third-party research organization, OS1 Face, which is what I've been using, was clinically proven to strengthen the skin barrier, improve skin health markers, and diminish visible signs of aging. Wrinkles were diminished by 87% of users. Guys, that is huge. So OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code PINKSHADE at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code PINKSHADE. After you purchase, they'll say, hey, where did you hear about OneSkin? And you're going to say Pink Shade. Please support this show by telling them we sent you. And again, I'm going to order that body stuff this week. Thanks, guys. She's looking inward. And, in her way, she's sorry. She says, she's sorry. And then she was like, I was going through a divorce. I was going through something. And this girl moves in. And yeah, I was going through something. We find out that Hippie / Graham is getting along with the cats. We address the fact that Raquel said the dog's bad behavior is because the way James treated the dog. And then we get Allie and James explain how the dog was transferred from Indiana from a breeder in a puppy carrier under an airplane. And that's very traumatic for dogs. Yes. Don't do that. If you can't drive and get the dog, don't do that. Don't mail a dog. Don't send a dog on an airplane under the plane. Don't do that. Then we ask Allie, are you ready for marriage and kids? And she's like, I'm only 28. If he asked me, I would say yes, but it'd be a long engagement and everything. And he says he's 32. Yes. He wants to be married and start thinking about kids by 33 or 35. 35 is 35. It's like, and then he says he'll wait for her forever till his dick shrivels and falls off, Andy.
The best part was her looking around and saying, you guys aren't exactly great examples for somebody wanting to jump into marriage.
Excuse me, what?
She's like, no, I didn't mean you. No, it's great. I would love to get yelled at in a swimsuit shop and
yeah.
That looks
maybe
great.
You, Lisa. And then when she said, she goes, and I want to be like Lala. Like, I want a baby so bad, I'll do anything to get it. Lala
that was
like,
very diplomatic. Yeah, that was smart.
Save, by the way. Yeah, funny. Then we talk about sobriety. Allie says she will not be with James if he's drinking. If he starts drinking again, she will leave. She has put her line in the sand on that. And we all agree James is better when he's not drinking.
Yes.
We talk about how great Anne is. Everybody knows that.
Oh, my God. I think Anne played the best long game I can think of because she's a comedian and an actor. So clearly she needs part-time jobs. And she probably thought to herself, you know what? I get in on reality TV, especially on a show where an assistant's going to be heavily featured because of the living situation.
Yep.
Gold. What?
She's been his assistant for a few years.
Oh, she has. Oh,
she was his assistant before this went down.
I think she played her cards right and said, I'm going to get in with a reality star that's on a show that's really popular, maybe get in some scenes. And then look at the amount of scene work she got this year. She is so funny. I love everything about her. I normally would not like an assistant or people that are also, comedian / actor, but
she's lovable though.
It is LA. She is lovable and she is so good. They need to bring her back on some show. I don't care. The Valley. Just bring her in.
Yeah. We talk about the dog getting into the chicken skewers. It's unclear who left the door open, and talk about her room being messy. And Ariana's like, "That's my only space in the house. That's mine. It's my space. Who cares if I have chicken skewers? It's none of your business." Like the door shouldn't have been left open. That's when she called him a dog killer. That was a step too far. Next week.
Wait, you didn't finish with how this ended in a very mature way.
I didn't write.
James goes, "Eat a dick." And Sandoval goes, "You eat a dick, dude." There's
Oh, yeah.
everyone's
Well,
growing up so fast on this show.
and Tom made that other gross joke about the sex, about shitting out a condom, and I was like, "Why
He
is that
made
funny?"
and I realized I'm like, he made a that was kind of a weird, like,
Homophobic joke?
yeah. The more I thought about it, I said, "Is
Yeah.
this okay just because you wear nail polish?" I don't think so. I
No,
don't think so. That
no.
felt weird. I didn't like that.
Next week, Sandoval cries to Ariana. I guess he's able to face her and give an apology like he's been wanting to do. And Ariana looks straight ahead and says, I just want you away from me. I just want you gone. That's all she wants. She wants to give him no attention. Let us scooch over to the valley,
The
and
Valley.
it is season 1, episode 10, Baby Moon Mayhem. Mayhem's a little strong. It's not
Yeah.
a real mayhem. So we open up where we ended, which is Jack's talking to Michelle, and he's out there trying to stir up some stuff. And the talking head, Michelle goes, I don't wonder if Jax is like stirring up some shit to get the stink off himself because he doesn't want to talk about his marriage.
Correct.
And then Jax is like, I heard you send these pictures, like sexy pictures to this celebrity who we still don't know who it is. Hopefully we'll find out one day. And she goes, okay, well, I didn't. I mean, Jesse knows everything you've said except for the sexy pictures part because I didn't do that. Yeah, Jesse knows everything. He's my husband. And they've been working through this for a long time. And I think she's just like, yeah, I sent these, whatever. So then this is when Jax leans into the door, which is off the kitchen. Their bedroom is off the kitchen. Jax leans in to Brittany and says, you're the only one throwing up out of all of the women. You can't do this. And she was like, Jax, I'm sick. It's not from drinking. And he says, what's it from then? Everybody's normal. Why can't you be normal? You're
Oh,
always sick.
God.
You're always drinking. I'm not going to support you when you drink and get drunk. Everybody else is normal. Why can't you be?
Here's the problem. If
Oh,
she's
would you have only just one?
oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
If Brittany is an alcoholic, which I am not here to say that she is or is not, shaming
Uh-huh.
her is not going to help. It will just help her secretly drink because she feels so
Yes.
ashamed. So that's
Mhm.
not going to work. If she has a medical condition,
Mhm.
also, what are you doing? You
Mhm.
know, both looks are not great. And I have to say, I did some digging back into what we know of Brittany's medical history on the show.
Oh, okay.
I sure did.
Mhm.
Do you want to hear it now or do you want to hear it later?
We can hear it now, but I will tell you that I think she has like an ulcer or something. I think she's got a Marisol on Ultimate Girls Trip problem where the lining of her stomach is worn out from the drinking. She should lay off the drinking and it will heal itself. That's my thought. Not a doctor. Go ahead.
Not a doctor. So there's a Vanderpump Rules recap I found from May 2020, season 8, episode 21, Secrets Revealed. And this is where Brittany
Okay.
has troubles with her stomach. She visits a doctor, and the doctor warns her against drinking and a whole lot of things, but she's like, I got to go take shots. I'm in Vegas. Then a season prior, in season
I
7,
remember that.
in season
I remember that.
7, episode 15, Brittany is diagnosed with ulcers in her stomach. The doctor suspects that she has peptic ulcers, which are sores on the lining of the stomach. The most common symptom is burning, gnawing pain, other symptoms, et cetera, acid reflux, other things. So it sounds like she has said she had her gallbladder out at a fairly young age. It sounds like
Mhm.
she needs to make a lot of lifestyle changes. It's not just drinking. It's fried food. It's
Yeah.
maybe when she eats, how she eats. I've
Yeah.
had stomach issues. I've had acid reflux. I've had stuff like this. And you have to change a ton of things.
Yeah.
And
You
I
do.
think she's not able to do it, particularly right now, because she is miserable. And how is she dealing with her misery? By covering it up with alcohol, which is in turn making her sick, along with the stress. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I do remember that when she went to that doctor and he was like, you really shouldn't be drinking. I remember that. Yeah. Um, so probably, some of what he is saying is true. He's been doing this for a while with her. And listen, it's very hard for me to defend Jax on anything, but I don't think he should say everybody else is normal. Why can't you be? That's awful. And then she's like, I can't help it if I'm sick, Jax. You're no support. Fuck off. Get out of here, Jax. Fuck off.
If someone
So he
yelled at
walks
me
out.
while I was vomiting, I would lose my goddamn mind afterwards.
I would lock him out. I'd be like, well, you can't
Oh
come
my
back in here.
god.
You
I
can
would
you can
I
borrow
would
clothes
turn
from other
around
people.
exorcist style and
Yeah.
spray him. Sorry. Lovely
Uh,
visual. Hope you're not eating.
He says he's been dealing with this with her for 9 years, and he goes, I think she has a hard time between being fun Brittany and being a mom, and I'm at my wit's end with it. So then we see Michelle. She talks to Jesse, and she's starting to say, like, Jax did this, and Jesse goes, Jax! And she's like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm not doing telephone. Get Jax up here. Get up here right now. And Jack's
He
like,
looks terrified. He looks like a child that's about to be reprimanded for playing
well,
ball in the house.
yeah. Oh, well, also, he's drunk too. So he comes up, he's like, oh, hey, man, like, you look so great. Like, oh, look at us. We're all in sweats. You're all drunk. Oh, look, man, I thought he's
What do you
trying to
think about
compliment him.
what do you think about his glasses? Jesse's.
I like him.
I like them too.
Yeah, I like him.
I have an issue with problematic men.
Oh,
I am
just say
so
that.
into all of his bullshit, and I need to stop.
Oh, you're not the only one. A lot of people are into
Okay, I'm
Jesse.
having a
He was on Watch What
very
Happens Live last night too, and he was fun and likable.
I know, I'm having such a hard time. I like how he dresses. I like
I
how
didn't like
he
that. I
talks about
didn't
not
like that.
having creme fraiche.
I didn't like that sweater polo with the nipples showing. I didn't
I
like that. But I do like how bougie he is. I like that.
I love his glasses.
Yeah, I
I'm
like his
I'm
glasses
trying. Trying to break this.
So he comes up there and they're saying like, Kristen said this, Kristen said that. And Michelle says, excuse me for the yawn. Michelle says, Kristen is not a businesswoman. So she doesn't understand networking. Like she doesn't understand this. And then she tells Jesse, you already know about this. This is the celebrity that I had coffee with and that I'm texting with. And Jesse goes, do you see how jealous I am right now? It's called networking. It's fine. Yeah. I'll throw her in a room with 5 guys. And I'm like, yeah, flirt, whatever it takes to get the property sold. Okay. I don't care.
Jax, just watch any of the Selling Sunset, Selling
Yeah.
OC. It's kind of like dating in a way. And I also think
Yeah.
from what we learn later, Jesse is somewhat checked out and kind of not checked out, but guarding himself because he admits
Yeah.
and he knows this is over, even though he does not want it to be over.
And it's his fault. And he's
Oh,
too
yeah.
little too late. And he knows.
Yep.
So Jesse comes downstairs and he and Danny hug it out for the fight they had earlier in the car. And Jesse apologizes to Danny. And Danny says, look, I'm easy. Somebody just apologizes to me. Like, that's it. I'm forgetting it. He goes, I'm going through a lot with sleep deprivation and everything. And I accept his apology. Like, yeah, it was sincere.
Know what I hated though?
What?
I'm so sick of people thinking that because Jason is a lawyer, he can solve
right.
everything. Because
Yeah,
when
right.
Danny is talking just to Jason and Jasmine about the Jesse
Making no
situation,
sense. No sense.
he goes,
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed that Jesse cannot reciprocate the growing situation that is confrontational. And
Makes
can
no
you say
sense.
this? Can you say this better, lawyer? He doesn't need a lawyer. He needs a dictionary.
He needs to have 14 less drinks and he might be able to explain himself.
He just
more
wasn't
clearly.
using the correct reciprocate and confrontational were not the correct words.
No,
you don't
they
need
were
a
not.
lawyer for that. I promise
Agree.
you got it, buddy.
Agree. So the guys go outside. So Janet says she's going to cook, and then Jason goes and fires up the grill. And the girls, let's see, I think Michelle is asking Nia about, the whole Santa Clarita thing. And she's like, you really don't want to move there. But then when we were there, you were like, look at this. So you're not voicing your opinion. And Nia goes, no, Danny knows full well how I feel. He's hearing me, but he's basically said like, it doesn't matter. And, but she says, honestly, I don't want to move there. It's too far. I don't want to be out there and be isolated and feel worse than I already do, like in her current, mental state.
So I read up on the Santa Clarita area, and
Amy Phillips lives in Santa Clarita. So it's,
and there was a thread. I think it was in Kate Casey's Facebook group where someone was asking like, what's the deal here?
Yeah.
And apparently, no, it is very, very far, very out there, incredibly hot, really hard to get to other places. There's a lot of reasons. And some people said again, this is just what people have said, that there's more chain restaurants. And if you really want, and I'm sure people live there that have found what they need, but that it can be very isolating. And right now, with Nia's state of mind, I don't think she needs to be more isolated. I don't know if that's the answer.
Yeah, but also like they don't have to buy that house and they don't have to move next week. I mean, you know what I mean?
No,
they can wait till but I mean, let me tell you what, the older those babies get, the harder it's going to be to move. You know what I mean? It'd be much easier to move 2 babies than to move 2 toddlers in addition to the other toddler. Yeah.
I don't know how they're doing the show right now. I could not, if I was Nia, I would be losing my mind. I would be great.
It's hard.
TV.
It's rough to even think about.
I
Yeah.
cannot imagine.
Um, so, okay. Sorry, I didn't clear that. Okay. So, sorry, I got something stuck in my throat. Let me
It's
fix
okay.
it.
It's okay.
Okay, got
You
it.
got it.
All right. Jesse and the guys go sit outside to talk. And Jesse says to Danny, I just want you to know, like, my apology was sincere to you. I think you're an amazing guy. I think you're an amazing father. Like, look around. Like, you are a role model to all of us. And Jesse really tears up. And he was like, basically, like, if Jax would have said it, I wouldn't care. But because you said it, like, it really means a lot. Like, I really respect what you have to say.
So,
And he's
was this just
crying.
Danny was this just Danny being drunk, do you think?
Um, yeah,
Because here's the
yeah,
thing,
yeah, he's drunk.
I haven't had a drink in almost 10 years, so
Yeah.
I am very bad at picking up when people are just drunk. I don't know
I
why, I
think
have
they're
a
just
really
drunk
hard
because
time.
they've been drinking all
I know,
day.
I never make that connection, though. I just thought,
Yeah.
"Why does Danny, care what Jesse has to say
I
about
think
his parenting?"
he's also, like, very fragile because he's got these 3 kids and he's sleep deprived and,
Putting
and
kids on
somebody tells him
boobs.
something nice and it really moved him, you know?
Yep, 3 under 2, 3 under 2.
3 under 2, 3 under 2. So, Jax hugs him and Jesse's like, "It really means a lot," and Danny goes, "I've been really going through it. I'm sleep deprived and this, that, and the other." And then Jesse says, "Man, like, I get it. Basically, my marriage is falling apart." And so they're out there having like a real bro moment.
What
Now,
what did you think, though, of that conversation that they had about not getting respect from Nia and Jesse saying they never do, and Danny saying it's a different time, women expect different things? What did you think about that conversation?
I didn't even clock it. I definitely
Oh,
didn't make a
sorry.
note about it.
I think maybe I clocked it because my kids are younger, and this is definitely a
Yeah.
conversation that
Okay. Tell
comes
me.
up, is I think that Danny might not feel like Nia can see his needs right now and how hard he's
Hmm.
working because she is so tunnel vision
Yeah.
with having 3
That
children.
she,
Her
two,
body is
two that she's
healing. She's
breastfeeding.
breastfeeding too. She has, it sounds like, pretty bad postpartum. And so she
Yes.
cannot see out of that fog. And
Yeah.
for me, it's, you're going through stuff and it sounds like Danny is doing a lot. Good on you. But
Yeah.
also, I'm sorry, she's going through more. She's going through more. You need to go
Yeah.
find a therapist. And I love, though, that Jason said, wow, this, I thought I would just get, some tips like, hey, new dad, exciting. And
Yeah.
all I'm hearing is that kids suck and this is terrible and you should get married. This is not really helping.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too. When Jason and Janet later are sitting outside, they're like, "What have we done?" She's like, "I'm 7 months in, man. I can't turn back." Yeah, yeah. It is. Let me tell you what. When your friends all start to have kids before you have kids, and they all start to tell you how horrible it is. You're like, "Well, I'm already pregnant. Like, what am I gonna do?"
I had kids
Um.
first. So
Yeah, you're the
I
one that
was the one
warned
that planted
everyone.
the seed.
Don't do it. Just kidding. Everybody have kids if you want to. Don't if you
Children are
don't. We
wonderful.
don't care. Still, children are a blessing, as the words of Garrick Merrifield. You guys know that feeling. At the end of a long day, you come home and you just want to take off your bra. I have been known to take off my bra as I'm driving up my driveway and flinging it into my purse or flinging it onto the floorboard and then not being able to figure out where my bra went. That's not a great feeling. But you know that feeling? Like, it's the worst. Sometimes your bra is so uncomfortable. And that's why in the pandemic, I coined the phrase sleeping bra, because I have a lot of bras around my house that are too gross to wear in public, but definitely you could sleep in them. You know what I'm saying? Well, Honey Love has completely changed the game. They've got bras that are so comfortable, you can wear them all day. You're not going to throw it onto your car seat or in the back seat or like hit a neighbor in their face as they're walking the dog. That's funny. They have a bra, it's called the crossover bra. Okay, this is the one I like. You can wear it all day and you can sleep in it if you want to. It's great. It's going to be your new go-to. This bra gives you all the support of a traditional bra without any underwires. Plus, it's got this mesh detailing, which makes it look a little bit sexy. That's kind of how I look at myself. I need just sometimes a little bit of sexy, not too much. I don't want to like overwhelm people. But this is the one bra you will actually enjoy wearing and don't want to take it off and fling it out your car window. And if you're tired of bras that cause that like back fat in the back, these bras are designed to completely smooth that bra bulge. For a more relaxed lounge bra, they also have the recommended V bra. It does offer the support of a traditional bra without that underwire, like we talked about. It's designed to lift and separate with the molded cups, but it's not like a shelf. You don't get that uniboob. You guys, the uniboob is the worst. Ugh. But it doesn't stop there. Honey Love, has way more than bras. They've got incredibly comfortable shapewear tanks, leggings. I've got their shapewear panties that really, really suck you in and don't make you sweat too much, because that's another thing I don't like is shapewear sometimes will make you sweat. But Honey Love doesn't do that. So Honey Love is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/pink shade. Okay, I'm going to tell you again. Best bras on the market. Save 20% off at honeylove.com/pink shade. You're going to use that exclusive link, honeylove.com/pink shade, and get your perfect fit. After you purchase, they're going to ask you, hey, where did you hear about us? Please support this show and say, I heard about Honey Love on Pink Shade. Honeys, you deserve this. Free the pain and discomfort and keep the support with Honey Love. Okay, so everybody's in the kitchen, and Jax again starts to talk about Brittany, and he's like, "Just let her ride it out. That's how I handle it." And how was she on the boat? How much did she drink? And they were all like, 0. And he goes, "I'm going to ask you girls just one time. Just answer the question. How much was she drinking?" And they're all like, 0. And she comes out and is like, "You're trying to make me look like a bad person? Fuck you, Jax. You think I want to be in here not feeling good? You're trying to make me look bad in front of all these people? Everybody here knows I only had 2 drinks today. Fuck you." Now, did she have 2 drinks or did she have 0 drinks? And I mean,
Was it 0 drinks on the boat, but 2 drinks beforehand? I couldn't figure out the math of this day
right.
necessarily. I also think this wasn't an important scene, but right beforehand, there's this weird thing with Michelle and Danny where Danny talks about when they're eating or where they're eating, and Michelle says something like, "I'm not your wife. You can't talk to me like that." They are setting something up with Danny and Nia, and I am
Yeah.
not excited. I am really
No,
not
we're seeing
excited.
a little preview of it next week. I think
Ugh.
Danny, I think they showed that at that first pool party, that Danny gets drunk and starts doing the 3 under 2 and starts getting drunk, and they're like, when he drinks, he's obnoxious, because I think he's just like so happy to have an escape for a few hours.
I also think they're setting up that things are much darker in terms of the dynamic and the way
Mhm.
Danny actually treats his wife, which I hope is not true, but I think
Yeah,
we saw 2 things
like
this
like a
episode,
misogynistic
2
attitude
things
towards
that
his
set
wife.
it
Yeah.
up, the Santa Clarita thing,
Yeah.
and that because Michelle really came out hard, and I had to rewind it because I couldn't figure out what exactly he did, but I said, "Okay, there's something right underneath the
Nia's
surface
not
here."
saying how she really feels because he's the
Yeah.
man or whatever.
Something's going on that I am not looking forward to.
Yeah. So the girls go in to talk to Brittany. By the way, Jax keeps saying there's 10 girls, there's 10 girls. I was like, there are 4 girls. Or where are you getting 10 girls?
Because he is drunk.
He's like, I've seen 2 of everybody. So the girls go in to talk to her to see if she's okay. And he's like, I mean, he was yelling at me and I was actively throwing up. He does this to me all the time. And I'm like, how much did you drink today? So he walks in and he goes, hey, listen, like, I'm not acting crazy. I drank 2 bottles of tequila today. You don't see me acting crazy. I was like,
She's not
let's
acting
let's
crazy.
what? And she goes, I'm not acting crazy, Jack. I am sick. And he says, every time you're in the bathroom, you're throwing up. Every time you're throwing up, you're hungover. We do see him saying after that girls' weekend that he found a bag of vomit in the driveway.
Who amongst us?
I mean, I don't necessarily think she has a drinking, this is just my opinion. I don't think she has a drinking problem and that she's drinking all day, every day to mask. Listen, I've lived with an active alcoholic. I know what it is. I don't think that's the situation. I think that when she gets a chance to party, she really blows it out. And also she has some sort of intestinal stomach issue and she is rotting away her inside. So yes, she is vomiting because her body is rejecting. She can't have, and she has said every season she's been on. She was first on Vanderpump Rules. She said she doesn't drink wine. She doesn't drink mixed drinks. She only does shots.
Hmm.
So that's
I
also
also
that's just the way she
wonder
drinks.
I wonder too, Jax has been on reality TV long enough.
Yeah.
He really is pushing the storyline that Brittany is an
Mhm.
alcoholic.
Mhm.
Is it,
Mhm.
despite
Mhm.
the fact he says we don't believe in divorce or
Uh-huh.
whatever, is he trying to lay the groundwork that if he did cheated, it was totally warranted? Look at his wife. Look what was
Yeah.
happening with
They
her,
never have sex, and she's an alcoholic. You're right.
to get some sympathy from the
Mhm.
audience when eventually it came out that, of course, he's cheating because he's Jax. He
Yeah.
was never
Well,
going to change.
we haven't seen any evidence of his cheating, but
I thought did not on the show, but
yeah. Yeah, we've seen the
offline.
rumors, but we don't have
Yes.
any hard evidence. Nobody's
We
come
don't
forward with any
listen,
photos.
allegedly, I believe it. I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
it.
It's just nobody would be stunned. Nobody. Um, so then he says, every time we go out, this happens. Every time we go out, like you're the only one girl out of 10 that's throwing up. Like you're the only one. Like if you can't handle your alcohol, you should stop fucking drinking. Like, what are you in college? Like you're a mom. And Jesse goes, yeah, but you don't need to call her out in front of everybody though, man.
If Jesse is telling you that you're an
Yeah.
asshole, you're an
Yeah.
asshole.
You're an asshole. And he goes, you don't need to call her out in front of everybody like that, man. Like, that's not the way to handle it. And Jax goes, it's been going on for years, for years. Like, maybe if I call her out in front of people, it'll give her a wake up call. And also, there's something going on. There's something wrong if she needs to drink this much. And then he is talking head. He goes, I've tried everything. I've talked to her about it directly. I've talked to her mom about it. Like, nothing works. And Michelle says to Brittany, when I get really stressed and upset, like I get really sick. So maybe your body is trying to tell you something. And then Jasmine goes, hello, everybody knows she's not sick. She's sick of Jax.
I
Um,
think it's a combination of things, and I don't think his
I
argument
agree.
holds up in this situation because she doesn't seem drunk on the show, even though, as we've learned, I can't tell. She's maybe had 2 drinks. We know she has stomach issues. We don't know what they've been eating all day.
Right.
So, he's trying to make this argument that she's drunk and out of control and ruining things, but that is not what is playing out right in front of
No.
our eyes. It doesn't work.
Why does he care if she's not? I mean, he's just like, come out of the room. And she's like, I'm actually sick. So Brittany says in her talking head, she goes, I'm starting to realize that Jax is draining the life out of me and he's dulling my sparkle. And I'm
Mhm.
starting to realize how he's really treated me for
Yep.
the last 9 years. I mean, we've only seen it a little bit on the show and it's disgusting the way he talks
It's
to her.
atrocious. I love that
Yeah.
Jasmine says, "I never wanna have a baby moon in my life. Not with you motherfuckers. I'm not bringing you. None of it."
Uh,
I do wanna know, Mary Payne, if you were on a reality TV show on a trip and you had to
uh-huh.
bring your 2 of the 3 under 2 that were
Uh-huh.
infants in a little pack and play,
Uh-huh.
would you, for a second, allow the camera crew to walk in and film while those babies are sleeping? If they woke up those kids, I would
Not
have
with the
freaked
light. Not with the
I would have
light.
freaked the F out.
Not with the light.
I would have said, "Don't
Um,
you dare come in here."
you
I
can
would have
just imagine how cute
I
they are from outside that door.
I gasped. I was so nervous because I see a sleeping baby. I said, "Don't approach.
Shh, don't approach.
Gently
Never
back
wake a sleeping baby.
away." I was so nervous.
Janet is talking to Jax and she recommends therapy. She's like, you guys really need like a third party to come in and talk. And then Jax says, you know what, if she has a cocktail tomorrow, like I'm done. I'm done. So the next morning, Jax is talking to Brittany. Jax, of course, is like still in his clothes. I'm sure he smells like tequila and regret. And she says, one shot does not mean I have a drinking problem. I'm very stressed. I'm very unhappy and my body's turning against me. This is what she says to production. So he says to her, okay, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'll do better. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have talked to you like that. You're right. And she goes, well, that's the shittiest apology ever. And he says, yeah, I don't know. Like I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. Okay, you're really sick, whatever. And then she says something pretty important. She says, Jax doesn't realize the emotional damage that he does. We have a fight, and in 10 minutes, he's fine. He doesn't think I'll ever leave him.
That is part of the problem, and he doesn't consider the way emotional stress will impact your physical health.
Right.
Health.
Yeah.
Like, he's not helping her get
No,
better in any way. This
no.
is not helpful.
So she comes out and she's like to everybody, like, I'm apologizing for being sick and the way I acted, and I would have never not participated. And they were all like, don't apologize to us. And she's like, Jax has apologized. Like, we worked it out. And, he's like putting his arm around her and hugging her and stuff. And Jesse goes, I've been there. You're putting something out in the outside world, so everybody believes it, but he needs to understand, like, it's a long road ahead. Like, this is, like, fake. All right, then we have this
Janet
stupid thing.
sorry. Janet
Yeah,
is so cute in her little two-piece pregnant
I
loungewear
know.
outfit. I did not have that cute of a belly. I remember with my first, I was huge already by 7 months, and I asked my husband, "Do I have any stretch marks? I'm not getting any." He's like, "No." And then I happened to see a full-length mirror when we were on our baby moon, oddly enough,
Yeah,
and I happened to kinda lift my stomach a bit, and I saw all the red stretch marks right
yeah.
underneath, and I said, "Oh, I just couldn't see my whole self."
No, no, can't look at your toes either. We had this quick thing about, Zach trolling them by posting that he was in Big Bear, and then Kristen and Zach have a spa day, and they laugh about it, and then he says to the camera, "You thought Kristen would be the crazy one," which was pretty funny.
I loved how he
Um,
was like, "I'm petty for a purpose. I could have done much worse." Because Janet,
yes,
I get it, you're hormonal and pregnant. I'm giving you a lot of passes on a lot of things. But the fact that you didn't sleep because of this,
I mean,
seriously, give me a
like
break.
what? He's gonna come to the house and be like, "I'm here with tequila," like, who cares?
Also, that would
Um,
have made for a great episode. You freaking out. There's another season. Give me a break, baby.
so they're tricking Janet into a baby shower. They're like, "We're gonna go paddleboarding, we're gonna go hiking, blah, blah, blah." So the guys are going on a boat to go fishing with a guy named Captain Mike. Um, Now Jesse tells us on this boat that he likes a woman like a Renaissance painting, like thick, beautiful women, and they're like, your wife doesn't look like that." He goes, "Well, she's smaller now than when I met her." Um,
I'd like to
Also has
see
a new nose, apparently.
his definition of thick.
I was about to say, because Michelle looks like she's about 5'2", 100 pounds soaking wet, you know? Uh,
I don't know. I
you know,
liked it though. I said, "Okay. Okay,
okay,
keep going, my
all
friend. You
right.
don't like abs? G
He's got a new girlfriend. Let's
right
see what she
here."
looks like.
I feel like
Um,
she's, like, stereotypical, like, LA. But
yeah,
hey,
she's
I'm
very
very
cute. I feel like she's very cute and natural. I don't feel like she's too, like, done up or anything.
I love that. I've only seen one quick photo, so I'll have to go back and
No, no,
inspect.
no. I'm talking about Michelle. I don't know what his new girlfriend looks
Oh,
like.
yeah, no, I like that Michelle isn't overdone.
Then they fight over what a Napoleon complex is. And Danny goes, "Yeah, it just means I only date girls that are shorter than me." And they're all like, "No, it's not what it means. It means like you're trying to like show that you have a lot of power because you're short." And Danny's like, "I don't think so."
You're trying to
And they're like,
compensate.
and
What
they're like,
Danny is talking about is a preference.
"Yeah, well, he dates because Danny's very short, obviously. I mean, he's even
Yes.
shorter than Jesse. We see when
He's
they
a
hug in
short
the
king.
kitchen.
He's a short king.
He's a short king or not. We don't know."
Maybe not
Um,
actually.
and Jesse says, "Here's the thing. I think you're being very Jax with your wife. You're always in a fight mode. Your response is to always be a fighter. You're always fighting to prove yourself. You've been doing it for a long time, but you don't need to prove yourself to your wife," which I was like, look at Jesse
Holy
coming in with the
shit.
therapy talk.
It
Look at
was
that.
amazing because
Yeah.
Jax tries to be like, "Oh yeah, my wife totally wears the pants," and Jesse says, "No." She starts to
No,
pull them
she
on,
doesn't.
and then you freak out. When
No,
he
she
said that, I
doesn't.
said that was the most lucid thing this man has
It
said.
was.
Maybe the drugs and nature and meditation worked.
It did because he's like, "You've always been fighting to prove yourself, and you don't have to prove yourself to your wife." And Jess goes, "Yeah, we're just going through a lot right now. And, I tend to get aggressive, and I'm aware of it, and I'm able to apologize. I'm able to reel it in." And they're like, "You need to get a third party involved. And like, you don't need to be turned to Jesse, for help here."
No, but that's
Because
the
his,
funny part is Jesse is drinking, obviously, so
yeah,
he's confused in that part, and he starts to say, "Well, listen, I'm the wrong person. Don't come to me for marriage advice." And Jax and Danny are like, "No, we would never come to you.
and they're like,
Never
"We
in
wouldn't,
a
and we're
million years."
not.
But this is when Jack delivers the death knell because he says something.
He
He
says,
slips.
he says, "Yeah, I mean, like, why would I listen to you? Because your marriage is on the rocks too." And that's when Jason's like, "Yeah, but you said two." And he said, "No, no, no, I just misspoke." He goes, "Here's the thing. My wife and I, Brittany and I, we're fine. We love each other to death. We're fine. We don't believe in separation. We don't believe in divorce. We work through everything. My wife would have to bury me in the backyard. We will stay together forever. She will never leave me. I will never leave her. We will never leave each other. We're just going through a hiccup." And they were like, "You're saying that you're going to have to, she's going to have to bury you in the backyard? Like, that's not how you work through things." And then the talking head, Jack says, "I do wonder, am I the reason she's drinking? If so, we have bigger problems." And then
It's
Jesse says something very interesting. He says, "They are in a stage of denial. I've been there. And we get clips of Jax being such a dick to Brittany. And Jesse says he should read the signs and make the changes now, or they're headed down the same road we are.
It's
It's a good
so
point.
weird to go from the standpoint of we don't believe in separation, we don't believe in divorce. I don't think most people enter marriage
No,
considering those things, which
I
is why
agree.
you continue to work on your marriage so that you have a marriage that you don't want to give up. I feel like we don't separate, we don't get divorced, we don't believe in that is an excuse to be as shitty as you want to be because you've
Yeah.
decided there is nothing that can change this situation.
But she made the point. He doesn't think I'll ever leave him. And he says here, she would never leave me.
Ooh.
Um, Next week, we see Jesse say, yeah, like we're working on the marriage. And we see Michelle saying, no, I don't want to work on the marriage. And then we see Jack saying, my wife would never leave me. No, she would never leave me. And then we see Janet saying to Brittany, I know you guys don't believe in divorce. And Brittany goes, no, we have been talking about going down that path. And then we see Danny and Nia
A
have
little
a
different.
fight when Danny's in some sort of a wig and Danny's drunk and she's saying like, don't do that. And he looks at her and is like, you don't tell me what's, you know.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about Pirate Danny.
I'll tell you this. I've heard Nia on an episode of Kate Casey's podcast, and I've seen them say very much that their relationship is very church based, and that's great and that's wonderful, and I'm glad they're both churchgoers. But we don't know what kind of church situation they're in if it really is proposing this Danny is the head of the household and Nia is the little woman who has to do what he says. We haven't
Sounds like
seen that yet.
it sounds like they're doing some kind of California non-denominational, like there's probably a rock band at the church, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
sounds like.
And that's great, and that's fine, but if they are based in sort of a the man as the head of the household situation, then now we're getting into Nia can't have an opinion about moving to Santa Clarita, then maybe that's we're gonna get some drama with them, but we don't need drama with them. We'd like for them to be the one normal couple on the show.
Yeah, I actually don't need it. We have enough going on that is dark
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bad.
yeah,
We we don't need this from you two. You two, get it together.
yes, agree. We need one strong couple. One strong couple, the rest we can take. That's it. All right, everybody. That's it. That's our recap. I want to thank everyone for being here and for following me on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. I'm still like 130 people away from 10,000. Like it's just so close. That's all I'm talking about. That's all I'm talking about.
You're gonna get there before 2025.
I mean, thank you. Thank you. Also, I fell down my stairs today, guys. I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's just great. I had a delivery man staring at me through a glass door going, wonder if she's all right. Just laying on the floor.
Oh, my son decided to turn the knob on the bidet this morning. And I went upstairs to an inch and a half of water on the floor and water spraying on the ceiling. And then I had to put my little cardigan over my head and run through like I was on Legends of the Hidden Temple from the 90s on Nickelodeon. We had a little lesson about what we're supposed to touch and what we're not supposed to do. I thought he was calling for water. He wasn't. No, he was not. He was saying, there's water.
Oh, boy, hey, there's water.
The toilet is talking and I don't understand why.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my morning.
We're just out here podcasting and being moms and working at
Living
home.
Living the dream.
Oh my God, everything's great. You know what? Danny and Nia and Janet and Jason, this is what you have to look forward to. Brittany and Jax, all of it. Thanks, everybody. Please follow Meredith Constant over on the TikTok and Instagram at Meredith Constant. She does a lot of content over there. She creates a lot of content. She also has a Substack, substack.com/Meredith Constant.
And my newsletter comes out tomorrow. It's free for everyone. It's fun. I also did a very fun little article this week. I made a timeline looking at the coverage of the Princess of Wales, Catherine, and how it dipped after March, after her video, and why she is reappearing this week. Not actually in person, not actually her talking, but the media is sure acting like she's around. It's fascinating.
Is it a hologram?
We get into it. I don't know if she's a hologram.
like when you go see Prince performing, it's a hologram. Yeah, you guys make sure you subscribe over there on Substack, and I'm a paid subscriber because
Thank you.
That's what I do for my friends, but you could get her little newsletter for free. And then you can also follow her on the TikTok and the Instagram. And follow me too, Pink Shade Pod. And I'll be back with you next week to do Love After Love During Lockup and 90 Day Happily Ever After and Bravo next week with Brandy and Julie. So
Ooh,
stay
that'll
tuned.
be
There's
fun.
lots of fun stuff to come. All right, talk to you later, Meredith.
All right, bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.